by 25 inches, and it's $3.50. And then the next one is Eyes of Blue Zeus, 12 by 24, and I'll show you the middle a little closer. This one's a little easier to take off the wall. There we go. And the detail shows up really well with this. And then this is the back. It's ready to hang. So everything in the show that's listed is ready to hang, and I like that.
Okay, Carol, I have good news for you.
Yes?
I think we're going live on a one-by-one source, but we have your profile and a few Facebook channels already, so we're live on Facebook too, just so you know.
Okay, great. So should I start over?
I mean, I'm pretty sure the people on Instagram were loving the story about the book. I don't think they will be, I think they will love to hear it again. So yes, we're live on both, and we're ready to get started again. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about the book again, and if you've been here for it, and if you want to stick around, that's great. And there's probably some new people. Hi, everybody. Well, I'm just getting started talking about my new book. So are we ready to go?
Yep, we're ready to go.
Okay, great. So welcome everybody on Facebook as well. I've been talking to people on Instagram, and so now we have Facebook. And I am so excited to show you my new book. It's been a few months in the making. Well, actually, it's been years in the making, but it's called Blue Zeus, Legend of the Red Desert. And it's a hardcover book, 144 pages, and it's all about Blue Zeus. Since I've known him, I met him first in 2018 through the Roundup and through arriving at Skydock Sanctuary finally. And this is the back cover of the book. And I'll show you the cover spread right here. And my good friend Lori Prindle, who has designed my previous 3 books, was the designer on this book, and she did a magnificent job. I'm really excited about it, about the look of the book. I provided the photographs and the text, and she did the design. And Rosemary Karstens did the editing, and we had a great team. So I'm going to start with the introduction. The story of Blue Zeus is a story that represents all of America's wild horses. Pushed to the poorest of lands, having lost 22 million acres that was originally home, wild horses face eradication and extinction from our own federal government, the Bureau of Land Management, who is tasked with protecting and managing them on our public lands. Last year alone, over 18,000 wild horses were rounded up and removed from their families, homes, and freedom. And the BLM plans to remove over 20,000 wild horses in 2022. The Roundup in the Red Desert Complex in 2020 started on October 10th and ended on November 12th, with 1,970 horses captured, 10 deaths, 100 mares treated with birth control, and a total of 197 horses released. This devastating roundup left families shattered, the desert almost empty of wild horses, and left me with an almost impossible task of finding horses that I knew and loved in the corrals at Rock Springs and Canyon City. Blue Zeus is an extraordinary horse, and he deserved to have been left wild and free to live out his life with his family in the Red Desert of Wyoming. But all our horses deserve the same. They deserve our care and respect. They deserve to be managed in their homes with the least invasive and most researched methods available. We must speak out for them and create change to protect them. They are valuable in and of themselves and should not be a pawn for powerful political interests. Their wildness is a huge contribution to the soul of our nation and to those they touch with their wild spirits, their beauty, and their freedom. So I talk about Blue Zeus and meeting him and spending time with him. And I was lucky enough to have him find me many times over 2018 and 2019 in 2020. And I really feel blessed when I'm able to spend time with wild horses. Wild horses can run off. They don't have to stick around for me when I get out of my car with my camera and walk toward them. They can just take off. But I feel so privileged when they stay and they know I'm there. I usually try to sit down and just watch them. And they go on with their activities. One of my very favorite encounters with Blue Zeus was in 2020 in August. And I saw him and his family walk across the road. And then they went and settled down. And he was a little behind the rest of the family, which is normal for him, acting as the protector. And he wanted to take a nap. I could tell. He was like, okay, leave me alone. I want to sleep. And gradually, first Gaia's little colt, Fire, who's a red and white pinto, walked over and he pinned his ears. And then Nike walked over and he pinned his ears. He's like, leave me alone. I need to sleep. Finally, the whole rest of the family walked over and was touching him and next to him. And you could just see him rolling his eyes. Okay, I'm going to have a nap with the whole family. So, and then they all settled down. And he's such a sweet and loving stallion to his family. Always very patient with the foals and very loving with the mares. And so it was really a joy being able to spend time with him. And usually when I would go out and I would see him, I would walk toward him and he would keep an eye on me. And sometimes he would walk right up pretty close. And it was really wonderful spending time with him. And then the Roundup happened. In 2020, we knew that the BLM was going to come in and do a Roundup in the area. And because of the location of most of these horses that I knew that they were going to be rounded up and there was no possibility that they would actually be released. Here is a map that Lori Prindle did of the Red Desert Complex, so you get an idea of the area. There are 5 herd management areas that are managed for horses. And in the middle is Arapahoe Creek, which is a herd area not managed for horses. Given that the horses go back and forth, it's insane that this was turned into an area not managed for horses. But we were told that all the horses in that area would be removed with no hope of release. And this is where Blue Zeus has been spending his time. So I contacted Claire Staples at Skydog Sanctuary, and I said, would you be willing to take Blue Zeus and his family? And she was. And I felt a tremendous relief as the Roundup was approaching because I knew he would have a place and he'd be with his family and he'd be safe. So the Roundup came, and sure enough, he was removed and his family was removed. And 1,200 horses were sent to Canyon City, Colorado, and 700 were sent to Rock Springs, Wyoming. And there was no logic to who got sent where. So I knew it was going to be a very difficult thing to find the rest of his family. We knew that he went to Canyon City because a friend of mine found out at the Roundup. And then another friend of mine, Rachel Reeves, she helped us look through a list of the tag numbers that we had gotten. My friend Debbie Coffey filed a Freedom of Information Act, and we were able to see the tag numbers when American Wild Horse Campaign gave it to us. And I couldn't decode the codes. So Rachel was very helpful. She immediately told me the tag number for Blue Zeus, and I started writing to the Department of Interior. I started writing to Jonah Goose, my congressman. I started writing to the BLM Deputy Director, Nada Wolf-Culver, trying to get a verification that these horses were there and that we wanted them. And so this took about 8 months, and they finally had an adoption of older stallions, and Blue Zeus was there. And it was horrible. There were over 50 stallions there former stallions. They were gelded and they were thin, just thin. They looked terrible. They looked depressed. They looked thin. They looked nothing like the beautiful, fat, healthy horses that I had last seen in the Red Desert of Wyoming. And I was so relieved when Blue Zeus and Hermes and Aslan and Apollo got on the trailer to go to Oregon to Skydog Sanctuary. But I knew that the job was not done because we had to find the mares. And it wasn't until August that we were allowed to go into Canyon City. Canyon City had been a place that I had always been able to go visit. They used to have adoptions twice a month. The people who ran it were very helpful. They wanted to help people find the horses they wanted, but this was no longer the case. They made us, they only allowed 9 people in to see the horses, and it wasn't until the last pen that we were actually able to find the mares. And it was really good to see them there. And there initially several mares were Nike and Juno and Flora were shipped to Skydog, and then we had to wait until September for the mares who had foals at their side. And they finally got to Skydog in September, and I went and for the reunion, and it was a magical experience being able to see Blue Zeus reunited with his family. And there's a whole chapter and lots of pictures. And I'm just going to show you the one of Blue Zeus coming out of the corral to meet his family. He went straight to them. He knew exactly what was going on. And his socks are flashing as he's running toward his family. And it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. He went up to them, right up to them, greeted the new babies that he didn't know because they'd been born and holding. And they all ran off together. And it was a very beautiful sight. So there's lots of pictures of that reunion in there. And later, after they all got food, they all settled down, and Blue Zeus was in the back behind them. And he was watching over them as the protector, as he always had. And he came up to me and stood there and let me take a bunch of pictures. And I knew he was going to be safe and okay. And it was wonderful. And it is only a very, very small percentage of horses that are lucky enough after a roundup to ever see their families again. There's so few horses that this happens for. Most of them are in holding facilities, and they're in jeopardy. If the BLM rounds up another 20,000 horses this year, it would be very easy to say, okay, we have 80,000 horses that we're feeding. We should just put them out of their misery and put them down, kill them. And that's what I'm afraid of. We need to stop the roundups. We need to not have 20,000 horses removed from public lands this year. Going back to the Red Desert after the roundup was so difficult. I kept looking for horses I knew, and they weren't there. And the horses don't deserve to live out their lives in these holding facilities, in these filthy pens, where they're not with horses they know. It's no kind of a life for a wild horse. And I have been working on helping wild horses since 2004. And I think raising awareness is the most important thing we can do. And contacting your senators and representatives is very, very effective. People tell me, well, we haven't saved the horses yet. You know what? I think that if the tens of thousands of people hadn't become aware and started to help the wild horses since 2004, that there would be no wild horses left. So we are making a difference, and we just need to get some assistance from Congress and from the Department of the Interior, and we need to manage these horses humanely on public lands. And so this book for me, it really is a love letter to the wild horses of the Red Desert and to Blue Zeus and his family. And it's a way to get the word out that these horses are gorgeous and wonderful and uniquely suited to the life on the public lands. And that's where they belong. And that's where they should stay. So this is my fourth book. My first book was Wild Hoofbeats, which I wrote in 2008. And these two are a package together, number 2. So these 2 books I'm offering as a package. So also, these are advanced copies. They're coming Friday. I'm very excited. And I'm going to sign every single one that people buy. And if you want them personalized, you can write a note in the notes section. And you can also message me or email me and let me know what you want me to say on the book, because I'm happy to do that. So, and then I also thought I'd share with you some of the images from the book that I have here on canvas and metal. And those are also available to shop for. So this one is Blue Zeus Head On, and it's a gallery wrap canvas, 24 by 30, and it's $3.95. And this is Blue Zeus. He was kind of napping at the time, but you can see his gorgeous forelock and his color. And Blue Zeus Legend is a metal print. You can see the difference between the canvas and the metal. And this one is 15 by 25, and it's $3.50. And then I'll show you the metal. This is Eyes of Blue Zeus. It's 12 by 24. And this is what the metal prints look like. I just love them. I think the color looks so rich. And then they're really easy to hang. I'm big on hanging things right out of the box. So that's why I like the metal prints. The canvases are also ready to hang. Blue Zeus in a Quiet Moment is this one. And this one was on the last day that I saw Blue Zeus in the wild, 2 days before the Roundup. And this is called Into the Blue, also taken on that day, right before he and his family were captured. And that's what the metal print looks like. And then Charlotte and Huckleberry. Where are they? There they are. So Claire also adopted a gorgeous pinto mare named Charlotte and her son Huckleberry, because Huckleberry looks so much like Blue Zeus. And here they are. And it's 11 by 14 print, and it is $115. And then we have Blue Zeus Walks. This one is 12 by 18, and this is Blue Zeus, and it's on a gallery wrap canvas for $145. Okay. And then Nike looks up. Nike is such a gorgeous girl. She's Blue Zeus's lead mare. And this is an 11 by 14 canvas print. This was taken at Skydock Sanctuary. And she's a gorgeous girl. And Juno and Flora. So Juno is Nike's now 3-year-old. And Flora is Iris's 3-year-old. And these two are inseparable, very good friends. And this is Juno and Iris. It's a 12 by 18 canvas, and it's $145. And then Iris and her fillies. So Iris's baby Phoebe, who is born in holding, and Flora and Iris together. and running together. And this one is 11 by 14 as well, and $115. And then this is an older piece. This was taken in 2019. This is Wild Red Desert Stallion. It's 16 by 24, and it's $295. And then the last one today that I want to share with you is Apollo and his family. So Apollo was the fourth oldest wild horse rounded up during the Red Desert Roundup. He was 21 and had the largest family in the Red Desert complex. And this is Hera next to him, his lead mare. And they were reunited at Skydock Sanctuary. So they're together, and he's really a magnificent stallion. And this one is 11 by 14 as well, and it's $115. So, did we have any questions, Juan?
Okay, so we have. I can't tell you how much love people are telling you, are sending you through Facebook.
Oh, that's
Hello
awesome.
from Oklahoma. Hello from Whitewood. Love Blue Zeus. Beautiful. Sending you love from Colorado. Lots of love, admiration, and respect from Canada. Thank
Oh, that's
you.
awesome.
I'm so happy a lot. But there's one question here.
Yes.
It's coming from Cindy Marie.
Yeah.
She's asking, how did you get started doing this?
How did I get started doing this? You know, I have been taking pictures since I was 4 years old, and I could hold a camera. And animals were my very first subjects. And in 2000, I started my own horse photography business. But it wasn't until 2004 someone invited me to go see wild horses in the Red Desert of Wyoming. And I said, wild horses? I don't know anything about wild horses. And when I went, I absolutely fell in love with them. And then I found out that I started visiting them once a month, and I found out that the herd that I'd gotten to know was going to be rounded up in 2005, and I was heartbroken. And when I was there at the roundup and saw the horses separated, I thought, what could I do? What could I do to help? And so that's why I wrote my first book, Wild Hoofbeats. I wanted people to see they're not skinny, starving, mangy animals. They're glorious, magnificent horses that are suited to living on our public lands. And so I started becoming a wild horse advocate because I thought I can't just take pictures of these horses. I need to help them. I need to help them stay out there and stay wild and free. So that's how I got started.
Awesome. All right.
Anything
I
else?
think I think it's good to remind people about the book and the signing of the book.
Yes. So here is the book. It's $49.95. It's hardcover, 144 pages, and I think I need to count, but there are over 250 images in the book. And you can purchase right now. I just have advanced copies. It's not widely available. And every single copy that I'm offering for sale will be signed by me. And you can ask for personalization on with the signature. You just need to say it in the notes section or send me a message or an email and let me know that you want to do that.
I
So
think we only have 15 books available for the Blue Zeus book, and then 6 books available, 6 packages available, just so people know.
for the two books together, right?
Correct. And then we have a question from Karen. I think it's an interesting one. How do we get the national media to start covering these horrible roundups? So many people I speak with have no idea, even my friends in the horse community.
So we need to just keep sharing with our friends for sure. And we did get a lot of media attention this last year, which was amazing, more than I've seen before. But we need to keep contacting media outlets and letting them know what's going on. And we actually had here in Colorado, we had a roundup at Sandwash, and the governor finally got involved and stopped the roundup early. And it was because of all the media attention and all the people writing and calling and putting pressure on him and on our representatives. So it makes a difference. Roundup season is going to start at the end of July again. They say that they wait until the end of foaling season, although foals are still being born through September. So Roundup season will start July 29th or 30th. And we need to start contacting our senators and representatives. And we need to also contact our media people. I've gotten to know several people in the media community here in Colorado. So, of course, I will be contacting them and trying to talk to them and trying to get it on the news. So every person that calls and makes contact makes a difference.
Awesome. Claire is saying you've been my inspiration for quite some time. Thank you for your compassion, dedication, and never ending hope for these beautiful creatures. They matter. I'm so grateful for those who tell their stories and capture their spirits in photography. Lovely comment from Claire.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
And a very good question, too. Jerry Anderson is asking how he can purchase the book. He wants to purchase a book, so how he can do that.
Yes. So you have the link posted, right? And
Yep.
then
So the link is in the description of the video. Correct.
yes, and also on Facebook, my last post, I actually gave the link, and on Instagram, my link in my profile will be there. And if you have problem finding it, just message me and I'll give it to you. And the books will be here on Friday. I'll be shipping them next week, the advanced copies. And then the book will be more widely available starting next month. And I'll be getting the word out about that.
Awesome. Let's just give it a few seconds to see if someone else has a
Yep.
question.
And I really appreciate everybody who tuned in and who cares about the horses and who loves Blue Zeus. I he's very lovable, so I understand, and I think it's so important that everybody keep fighting for the horses. I think it's really a critical year this year, making sure that the horses can live out their lives on our public lands.
All right.
Anything else?
I think on Instagram, someone saying I've learned about wild horses from you. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, that's great.
A lot of love on Instagram as well. Watching from Australia, imagine that.
Thank you.
Someone is asking on Instagram. This is a funny question. I have a question. What is the best horse color and why is it bay?
That's great.
That's a lovely one.
Was that by any chance from Rachel?
So the name of the Instagram profile is Mustangs and Mayhem.
Yes, that's Rachel.
There you
I knew who said that.
go. Denise is saying I'll keep fighting for them with you. So yeah, a lot of people
Great.
showing love. Love to see
Thank
that.
you. That's what we need. That's what we need. Just spreading the word, getting the word out. All right.
Yep, I think we're ready to wrap it up, Carol. It was a
Great.
great
Well,
thing.
I really appreciate everyone who's tuned in and everyone who cares about the wild horses. Thank you. You are the ones who are keeping them out there wild. And we will have a replay of the video on the sale page. So if you have friends who didn't get a chance to watch, they'll be able to watch again. And thank you again. I really appreciate all of you.
Already, I'm ending the broadcast here on Facebook.